first thing on the phone, he's joking, he's just being his normal self, but he kept apologizing. And almost every call that we had, every time I saw him, he would apologize. And God had already kind of taken me through a process of forgiveness for him, and he would always ask me about my mom sometimes.
That's
How your mom doing?
That
like,
Rolling Stone was still rolling. He was still trying to see what he could rekindle.
Right.
The cry, was it like an emotional moment for you to just actually lay eyes on him? Because that had to be kind of impactful to see this is where I came from.
And remembering it, it was probably more emotional afterwards.
Okay.
Everything was good.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad
he probably needed to have peace with that too.
I think
to know that it was okay.
Yeah.
That you were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The fact that I'm just gonna say everybody doesn't get the apology or the explanation.
No.
Because sometimes when men do pop back up, they almost make you feel like I'm doing you a favor being in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably don't know it, but you probably needed to hear that apology. You probably need to hear it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, the validation or validating that he did want to find you. Like there was some I don't think I got an apology. I got an apology, thank God. But I wanted the apology when I first met him.
Right.
I wanted the apology the day he showed up. I wanted him to tell me why he wasn't in my life. So all of my questions didn't get answered that day.
Right.
So I was so happy to see him and be in his presence, but I was like, you should be telling me why you weren't there. You should be apologizing. Well, my daddy is a prideful. In that time, I think it was more pride than anything, or not even pride. Maybe he just didn't know how to express himself.
Right.
But like now, we can talk about anything, and stuff. I'd probably be more of a counselor to him now.
Right.
But I was just thinking that the emotion had to be there. But like you said, he was funny, so you couldn't bear. How did you feel meeting your siblings? Because I remember meeting people that I didn't know. I felt like I was like a secret, and because some people say, "Oh, I didn't even know you."
Right.
Did you get any of that? Like, were your siblings very receptive of you?
They are very receptive of me.
Right.
So definitely my sisters. My brother, I didn't get to meet him until, matter of fact, I didn't get to meet him until my father's funeral, actually. Wow. It was the first time I got to meet him, face to face. And so, every time I went back to visit home, he was, either out of town or, in a different situation or something like that. But so other than that, like my sisters were so accommodating. Like, they always invite us over to eat, or because normally I go back during the holidays. So I'm going to go visit my mom and, my other brother and sister that, I grew up with. But, they always want me to come and spend time with them. We talk. One of them is doing a podcast, so she wanted me to help her, with her podcast.
Right, because you're gonna be helping me.
So it's been that's probably been a really, really great experience. I met an aunt that lives in, Atlanta, and she, she was kind of like the matriarch still of the family because she was the oldest sibling, and so, she's been, so receptive and supportive of making sure that I'm staying connected with, the rest of the family. So definitely been feeling, embraced and a part, just as I meet different people. So
right. So you were 38 when you met him. You guys had a good relationship. What part of it? That's probably for them. I ask later, but because you said Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
So you met him when you were 38. Did he get a chance to meet your children, your sons?
He met my youngest son, and I think he met my oldest son. He did not meet my three three children in between.
Okay.
My youngest son was with me a couple of times when I went back to Virginia, and then my oldest son actually was kind of living in Virginia at that time.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, he got to meet them, and, and he cried then.
Oh.
He actually shed a tear when he saw that. And I mean, so getting back to even the emotional thing, like
Mhm.
I wasn't emotional, he wasn't really emotional.
Mhm.
Like he hugged me
Yeah.
for a very long time, and I can
Mhm.
tell he felt some emotion with
Yeah.
that. But he cried when he saw, the youngest, his grandchildren.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He probably had all kinds of emotions, thinking, like that was you,
Hmm.
because that's a version of you, and
Hmm.
he didn't get to see you
Yeah.
growing up, so
Yeah.
that probably was a really, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. You need some tissue. You look like you a little.
No, I'm good.
Call it. You
I'm
need some
good.
tissue. Okay. So okay, I'm so glad that you did get a chance to meet him and formulate a relationship with him. How long after you meeting him, uh, was it a long time before he passed away? What happened?
um, so it was probably about 8 years after meeting him, that he passed. Um, Again, my dad was still like my dad, even
Jovial.
to the very end.
Okay.
He'd been a victim of some type of home invasion. They had,
Oh my
had
goodness.
to hit him on the head, and took some things from his house. And then I guess while they were checking him at the hospital, they found out he had cancer.
Oh.
And the cancer had been there for a while, and hadn't been addressed. So by the time they saw it, it was already in a state to where they couldn't do anything. So um, we knew probably about 5 or 6 months before he passed that he was going to pass. He went to stay with one of my sisters,
Mhm.
and we had a lot of conversations. At that time, I was actually trying to go see him before he did pass. The weekend before, or actually the weekend that I was supposed to be traveling there, he passed the weekend before that. So um, it was almost just in time for the funeral and everything.
When
So
you did arrive.
when I did arrive,
Mhm.
yeah. So, um, but again, to the very end, he was himself. And you mentioned something earlier about peace. Again, as much as my dad lived, I think he had peace when he
Okay.
passed.
Mhm. Yeah.
He was a believe it or not, a deacon in church, and
Oh, you get it from his
and he
daddy.
and he sung. He was singing in church.
Okay.
His last few years. So, um, I think to your point, I think it was good closure for him,
Mhm.
for sure. But God had kind of already taken me through like a healing process before I met him, which I think was perfect because if I would have met him any earlier in my life, it probably would have been a different experience
Yeah. And I just
altogether.
was thinking that how you were saying, God, he probably needed it. God just loves us so much
Hmm.
that he'll give you know, each individual what they need.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
supplied you with what you needed
Hmm.
to be able to be your heart to be tender to be able to receive him when you
Hmm.
did meet him. And then for him, any questions that he had, he was able to resolve the relationship that you had
Yes.
with him. Before he took him.
Hmm.
Oh, he's so good like
He
that.
is good.
He's so good
He's
like
really
that.
good.
But the fact that you missed seeing him before, were you okay that you didn't get there to actually just see him and say goodbye in person?
Um, Not fully. So I did have some struggle with that because I did want to see him, and it was so weird because my dad's a Redskin fan. I'm a Giants fan, but his his brother is a Cowboys fan.
Okay.
So one of the trips that they would always do is every Thanksgiving when the Cowboys play the Commanders,
Hmm.
they would travel here to Texas. And
Okay.
so it was 2 years prior where I was trying to meet up with my dad while he was here, and we
Okay.
didn't get to meet. So
Oh.
there was always some regret there
Yeah. Yeah.
because that probably would have been the last time I got to see him,
Hmm.
face to face, or spend some time with him here in Texas. So yeah, I think there was some just some sadness with that because I just wanted to
Right.
see him one last
Right.
time.
Of course.
But I think for me, um, God gave me the closure I needed when I met him.
Okay.
Because you got to think like by the time he did reach out to me, it was a time where I wasn't really looking for him anymore,
Hmm.
or I didn't know what happened with him.
Hmm.
In the back of my mind, I was thinking he could have already been gone, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I hadn't
Right.
heard from him at that time, so you know, I think when I met him, like I said, it was that closure. It was that you know great moment. Um, I wish he was here today, like I
Yes.
said, because
Hmm.
he just what he brings is just he brought a lot of joy. But I believe he's in a better place,
Hmm.
right now, and life was rough with him, rough on him,
Okay.
and so I think him having a place of peace right now is definitely what I want for him.
Definitely. Definitely. How did your son react when he first? So that was his first time meeting his grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
How did
Mm-hmm.
he react? How old was he?
Oh, how old was he? He was probably around, I'd say 6 or 7.
Okay.
So he was pretty young.
So that's what he. I didn't know he was that young.
Yeah,
That's what Daddy was going through when he
yeah,
saw him.
yeah,
That's exactly what he was going through because he was like, he missed it,
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. Oh wow.
And I mean, being that young, all my son was, he was, he was good.
Yeah, he was.
He was
He
good.
yeah. Right.
Granddad.
Yeah. Pop pop.
My oldest son, and again, he was, by this time graduated and in college and doing some things. He had more questions, and we got to kind of sit down and really talk about, I think my feelings are the transition of my feelings and emotions,
We're on him. Hmm.
and how that even pertained to him and
Yes.
my relationship, and just wanting to make sure he always, no matter what, knew his dad. He would never be able to not say that.
Yeah.
So we had a good conversation. I think that spurned from that.
He wanted to know his grandpa.
He did,
Yeah.
like,
Why
and
wasn't he in
even
my
the ones
life?
that didn't get to meet him in
Yeah.
person, they got to talk to him on the phone. They got to,
Okay.
I think I even FaceTime him a couple of times, so they even got to, see him.
Okay.
Um, but yeah,
Okay. Well, it's you have a good story because you don't have that bitterness. You don't, you made it through that bitterness and that anger stage. You did talk. You did speak to it though when you were growing up and you were playing sports. So what kind of sports did you play?
Basketball,
Mm-hmm.
football.
You
Yeah.
would have loved to see him cheering in the stands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what boy wouldn't want their dad to teach him how to, or cheer him on? So yeah, I get it. But I'm just grateful that you got the you got the closure that you needed, that you got a chance to meet him because everybody doesn't get that chance.
No. Mm-mm.
Um, when we went to your event that you guys had that I went to at Thibodeau's at that time,
Mm-hmm. The men versus women.
men
Mm-hmm.
versus women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I met your friend, and he was saying that he had saw his dad before, but his dad told his mom he didn't, he think it'd be best if he didn't never meet him.
Right.
Like they were in the same place. So some men don't even really care. I remember you said something that really touched me. You was like you was determined to be in your kids' life because you didn't want them to know what it was. You wanted them to
Right.
know that their father loved them, their father cared. I wish all men were like that, but some are not.
Mm-hmm.
But grateful that you stepped up and you set the example for your boys to be, what you didn't have, so they don't have that longing
Yeah.
and stuff. So we are so grateful for that story.
I think it, to your point, there's two ways, like you said, that men can go with that. They
Okay.
can go the path of their father
Yeah.
because they didn't get that, and they can use the excuse that,
I ain't
because
nobody
I
help
didn't get
me.
it, I don't,
Mm-hmm.
and they can go the route that I did, and overcome, or I will say that I put up with a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't have had if my sons weren't involved with it. And so, um, but I think the challenge is, I really hope fathers understand that you don't really want to put your kids in that position, right?
Right.
Because neither way I mean, one is going to lead to I think repeating that cycle,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, definitely.
But again, it's understandable because, again, you didn't have anyone to teach you how to do it the right way.
Right.
Most likely, I never. Here's what I didn't get. I didn't get to meet my father's father. You know what I mean? So I don't know where what his story was.
Mm-hmm.
But I do. What I am thankful for is that God got to break a cycle.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
God, and I think He's the only one that can break that cycle if you
If you
allow Him.
allow him.
If you allow Him to break
Yes,
that,
definitely.
He putting you in that position. Like I said, I can look back at my life and I smile because I can see at every major point of my life, God putting, a man or, a mentor or someone in my life to help me get past that time. So He thought of me enough to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what I'm going to replace this with. And He's always been a father to me. I've always understood Him as being a father to me.
Yes.
Um, so, again, by the time I met my dad, uh, forgiveness was so important to me. I had already had to forgive a lot of people up until that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I had practice with it, and like I said, I don't know my father's story,
Yeah.
but I know that it couldn't have been, a great thing. You know what I mean? Because I can't imagine anyone.
Yeah, but like you said, everything is like a cycle, and you thank God that the cycle was broken with you because you don't know if he grew up with his father in his home. That story almost reminds me of the production with the guy Cole. He was mimicking the behavior that he saw with his uncle,
Yes,
and
yes,
then it was about to trickle down to the son until the mama snatched them. And it's
exactly.
like, so you're right. It is a cycle, but somebody has to be determined. I'm not gonna let this. Not gonna let this determine my life. I'm not gonna let it shape my life.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Exactly.
break the mold. And like you said, God, the boys club helped you. He allowed you to meet men that, at the right moments of your life to help kind of guide you along. So you're one of the blessed ones. So normally at this part, I don't think I told him though.
Uh-oh.
Um, you were supposed to write a letter. That's why it's called letter to.
To my dad.
Yes.
Oh.
So Carla, make sure you have your letter. Thank you. Uh, his wife is here. If y'all want to know who I'm talking to, she's here. So we're at the part. All right, guys. So we're at the part where the letter, because the title of this podcast is A Letter To. So now, Shelton, I'm just going to ask you, is there anything that he didn't get a chance to write his letter? That's on me. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. Hey guys, so due to technical difficulties, we were not able to record Shelton reading his letter or speaking his thoughts to his father, which gave him enough time to go home, write his letter, and he was kind enough to record it. So here goes.
Hey Cheryl, sorry it took me a minute, but actually this was a little harder than I thought to write, because I definitely wanted to be mindful of everything that I had to say. So this is my letter to my dad. Hi Dad, Wayne Williams. Just wanted to take a moment and thank you for helping to bring me into this world. I wanted to thank you for contributing to who I am, even if it was by what you were not able to do in my life. I will cherish the opportunity that God allowed for us to meet before you left this world, which not only brought me confirmation and closure to my life, but I believe it brought confirmation and closure to your life as well. It allowed me to meet another half of me, another half of my family, and I thank God for coordinating that the way he did. So I will always love you, Dad, and appreciate you for just being you.